Chapter 1. Arjun Vishad Yog. Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjay, after gathering on the holy field of Kurukshetra and desiring to fight, what did my sons and the sons of Pandu do? The two armies had gathered on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, well prepared to fight a war that was inevitable. Still, in this verse, King Dhritarashtra asked Sanjay what his sons and his brother Pandu's sons were doing on the battlefield. It was apparent that they would fight. Then why did he ask such a question? The blind King Dhritarashtra's fondness for his own sons had clouded his spiritual wisdom and deviated him from the path of virtue. He had usurped the kingdom of Hastinapur from the rightful heirs, Pandavas, sons of his brother Pandu. Feeling guilty of the injustice he had done towards his nephews, his conscience worried him about the outcome of this battle. The words Dharma Kshetre, the land of Dharma, virtuous conduct, used by Dhritarashtra depict the dilemma he was experiencing. Kurukshetra is described as Kurukshetram Deva Yajanam in the Shatapath Brahman, the Vedic textbook detailing rituals. It means Kurukshetra is the sacrificial arena of the celestial god. Hence it was regarded as the sacred land that nourished Dharma. Dhritarashtra feared that the holy land might influence the minds of his sons. If it aroused the faculty of discrimination, they might turn away from killing their cousins and negotiate a truce. A peaceful settlement meant that the Pandavas would continue being a hindrance for them. He felt great displeasure at these possibilities, instead preferred that this war transpires. He was uncertain of the consequences of the war, yet desired to determine the fate of his sons. Therefore he asked Sanjay about the activities of the two armies on the battleground. Verse 2. Sanjay said, on observing the Pandava army standing in military formation, King Duryodhana approached his teacher Dronacharya and said the following words. Explanation. Sanjay understood Dhritarashtra's concern, who wanted an assurance that the battle would eventuate. Sanjay tried to allay his worry by informing that the Pandava army was standing in a military formation, ready for battle. Then he moved on to tell him what his son Duryodhana was doing on the battlefield. As King Dhritarashtra was blind, his eldest son Duryodhana virtually ruled the kingdom of Hastinapur. In the Mahabharata, he is described as very rude, egoistic, evil, and cruel by nature. Since his childhood, he had a strong dislike for the Pandavas and left no opportunity to demean them. He was aware that to rule over the entire kingdom of Hastinapur unchallenged, he needed to eliminate. However, standing on the battlefield, when he saw the large Pandava army, he was baffled. He had underestimated the Pandavas. The extent of military might they had gathered was way beyond his expectation. Duryodhana approached his guru Dronacharya, the pretense of offering respect, but his actual purpose was to palliate his own nervousness. His move towards his guru also reveals that the mammoth military formation of the Pandava army unnerved him, and he was now fearful of the outcome of this war. The next 9 verses are spoken by Duryodhana. Verse 3. Duryodhana said, Respected teacher, behold the mighty army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arrayed for battle by your own gifted disciple, the son of Drupa. Duryodhana asked Dronacharya to look at the skillfully arranged military phalanx of the Pandava army led by their commander-in-chief, Dhristadyumna, King Drupad's son. He was also one of Dronacharya's pupils. Duryodhana was subtly reminding his teacher of a mistake he had committed in the past. Many years back, Dronacharya, along with the Pandavas, had defeated King Drupad in a battle and took away half his kingdom. To avenge his defeat, Drupad performed a sacrifice to beget a son. Dhristadyumna was born out of that sacrificial fire, with a boon that he would kill Dronacharya in the future. Even though Dronacharya was aware, when he was approached for Dhristadyumna's military training, he very humbly accepted and imparted all his knowledge impartially to his pupil. Duryodhana was reminding Dronacharya that even though Dhristadyumna was his pupil, he was also Drupad's son, the boon to kill him. He wanted to ensure that, as in the past, Dronacharya should not become lenient towards his pupils, now that they were on the battlefield. Verse 4-6. Behold, in their ranks are many powerful warriors, like Yudhan, Virat, and Drupad, wielding mighty bows and equal in military prowess to Bhima and Arjun. There are also accomplished heroes like Drishtaketu, Chekatan, the gallant king of Kashi, Purujit, Kuntaboj, and Shaibya, all the best of men. In their ranks they also have the courageous Udamanyu, the gallant Uttamaja, the son of Subhadra, and the sons of Draupadi, who are all great warrior chiefs. Due to his anxiety, the Pandava army seemed much larger to Duryodhan than it actually was. He had never expected his opponents would mobilize an army of warriors with such military prowess, who would be formidable in battle. Out of fear of the looming catastrophe, he started enumerating the names of all the Maharathis, warriors who were singly equivalent in strength to 10,000 ordinary warriors gathered on the Pandava side. They were all exceptional heroes, and great military commanders, equivalent in valor to his cousins Arjun and Bhim. Verse 7. O best of Brahmins, hear too about the principal generals on our side, who are especially qualified to lead. These I now recount unto you. Dronacharya was a teacher of military science and not really a warrior. However, he was on the battlefield as one of the commanders of the Kaurava army, and impudent Duryodhana even doubted the loyalty of his own preceptor. Cunning Duryodhana purposefully addressed his teacher as Dvijotama, best amongst the twice-born, or Brahmins. His denigrating and veiled reminder for Dronacharya was that, if he did not display his valor in this battle, he would be considered a lowly Brahmin, who was only interested in the fine food and lavish lifestyle at the king's palace. Then, to cover up his vicious words and boost his teachers and his own morale, Duryodhana started naming all the great generals present on the Kaurava side, describing their valor and military expertise. Verse 8. There are personalities like yourself, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwatthama, Vikarn, and Bhurashrava, who are ever victorious in battle. Verse 9. Also, there are many other heroic warriors who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. They are all skilled in the art of warfare and equipped with various kinds of weapons. Verse 10. The strength of our army is unlimited, and we are safely marshaled by Grandsire Bhishma, while the strength of the Pandava army, carefully marshaled by Bhim, is limited. The commander-in-chief of the Kaurava army was Grandsire Bhishma. Apart from being an exceptional warrior, he had an extraordinary boon. He could choose the time of his death. This meant he was practically invincible. Duryodhana felt that under Bhishma's command their army was undefeatable, whereas the Pandava army was secured by Duryodhana's sworn enemy, Bhima. Hence, he started comparing his grandfather Bhishma's strength with his cousin Bhima. Vinash kala viprit buddhi, as the proverb goes, which means that when the end draws near, egoistic people indulge in vainglory instead of being humble in evaluating their situation. This tragic irony of fate is reflected here in Duryodhana's self-aggrandizing statement that their army's strength secured by Bhishma was unlimited. However, both Kauravas and Pandavas were Bhishma's grandchildren, and as the oldest living member of the Kuru family, he was concerned about their welfare. He was compassionate towards the Pandavas, but was bound by his ethical commitment towards the throne of Hastinapura and its subjects. Therefore, half-heartedly, he led the Kaurava army against them. Bhishma was also aware that in this holy war, along with all the great warriors of the world, the Supreme Lord Krishna himself was present. Lord Krishna was with the Pandavas, which meant Dharma was on their side, and no power in the entire universe could make the side of Adharma win. He had vowed to protect the kingdom of Hastinapur and its subjects, and to fulfill his responsibility towards them. Bhishma led the Kaurava army, even though he was aware of their wrongdoings. This decision of Bhishma accentuates his strength of character and enigmatic personality.